Hello and welcome to the late morning show right here on Catholic Television. This is the show that is put together to keep you up to speed with the latest happening in politics, entertainment, and social issues. And today we've got quite a number of issues that we are going to be looking at. And also in the course of the program, we are going to have an interview with a guest in the studio. And I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have, of course, my co-host here with me.
Yes, hello viewers. My name is Charles Agedu, and I want to welcome you to the show. And we'll be talking about a whole lot of issues today on the show. Of course, just recently, the president has just unveiled the new NNPC, and that is one of the issues that dominated the polity in the last 24 hours or thereabout. And we'll also be looking at that to see if it's going to be different from what we had when we unveiled, is it Nigeria Air? Nigeria Air.
Yeah, Nigeria.
So we'll be looking at that and what impact will that really make on the recent happenings around the fuel queues that we have in town. And of course, we just received the sad news about the priest that was kidnapped in Kaduna. One of them has been killed and one escaped. And that is not the issue we are looking at today. We are going to be focusing on our attention on the recent announcement by INEC to end the ongoing registration exercise by 31st of July. And we want to see how that that will impact the Nigerians that are willing to register. We'll be seeing queues and crowds around registration centers, and we want to wonder if we can actually beat this deadline of 31st. And we'll also be taking a short break very soon to take you to the streets to look at that issue of INEC registration deadline. Of course, that is the big issue today that will also be forming our interview segment, but that will not come until after the newspaper review that we'll be having after the Vox Pop. So we're going to take a pause at this point and take a break, take you to the streets, of course, to some centers around the city center where the registration is currently ongoing, to have the feelings of Nigerians who are waiting on the queue to be registered. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Before the extension, I have tried severally to see if I could get my card transferred to no avail. There have been a lot of challenges due to the crowd, and also work time frame from work has not been very easy for us to get time to come out. So there is a lot of awareness now. People have gotten more information than they used to do, so everybody wants to come out to exercise their right. That's why we are seeing a lot of turnout than the previous time in the past. The least they can do for every Nigerian is to extend the time, because if we have more time, more people that have not gotten the opportunity to come out to either do their transfer or get their card, they will have the privilege and the opportunity of coming out to get their card and also exercise their right when it is time.
The thing's supposed to be done in a kind of people doing in their houses near to their area of living, than to just be coming to, like on my own side now. I come from all the way from Jabi to this place. There is no any center in my area, so the system is frustrating. So the government should exercise patience and extend it so that people will be able to have their time and register their names.
Yeah, it's not the first extension, we are all aware of it, but because of the crowd, the turnout is overwhelming the INEC staff, so they need to still extend so that others who have not gotten their card can have the time and the opportunity to get the card.
As you can see, there are a lot of crowd outside there. People are eager, they want to register so that they can cast their votes when the time comes. But I think the process is very slow. And also, there is a deadline, I think 31st of this month, according to what I heard. I think there should be an extension of that deadline, because as you can see, these people you are seeing, I don't think all of them will be able to collect their PVC before this time frame. So it's important that that should be extended so that everybody can get registered. Actually, it might not be the first extension, but as you can see, it is not about the extension, it's about people that want to get registered. If they are not registered, even if you have extended it maybe before now, like 3-4 times, it does not really make any sense, except everybody get registered. Anyway, my advice is if the government can extend, that is number one. Number two, if the process can also be been improved so that probably faster than this. If in a day, probably let's say 500 people registered, if you can at least being worked on, maybe probably around 1 million people can get registered in a day, it will be better so that you can actually reduce that crowd outside.
I don't think so, because there are a lot of crowd outside there that have not been able to register. I remember sometime last week, they came around my estate. We were there we came there for twice, we could not register. A lot of people could not register. A lot of people, and they did 2 days and left. They left us like that, and that's why we proceeded to this place. So there are so many people out there that have not been registered. Because of queue, they couldn't come out now. Because I need change. Because I need change. That's why I'm here. I want a new Nigeria. And that's why you see that everybody is motivated.
They have sent me up and down to get to know where they are doing this PVC. So I just thank God I came to this place, they are doing it. So I was getting to 5 hours ago now.
Still the late morning show right here on Catholic Television, and up next is the newspaper review. And on the newspaper review this morning, we will be starting with the Punch newspaper, and our first story on the Punch newspaper is Buhari unveils NNPC Limited Agency halts FARC remittance. And the next story on the Punch is Anambra Assembly holds valedictory session for murdered lawmaker. And also on the Punch, we have this story which says 2023 polls will be our best so far. INEC assures Nigerians.
And we go straight to the Nation's newspaper, and we take you to the boldest headline on the Nation newspaper. And it says, Buhari orders Ngige to hands off negotiation. Still on the Nation newspaper, 2023 poll will be our best so far. Who is saying this? INEC, and assures Nigerians. And still on the Nation newspaper, $10 billion spent on education, medical tourism yearly, says Emefiele.
All right, and on the Nation newspaper, we have this story which says,
Vanguard.
On the Vanguard newspaper this morning, we have this story which says, cholera outbreak kills 5 in Kano. And also on the Vanguard, we have government security agencies have failed to secure Nigerians. And who is saying this? Masari. And lastly, on the Vanguard, we have this story which says, I can't wait to vote for you. Chimamanda endorses Peter Obi.
And we move straight to our own Good Shepherd newspapers. Our Good Shepherd newspaper is giving us its boldest headlines on this week's edition, saying that baggy cultural troop gets Episcopal nod. Above the neck plate, we have this story which says Christians' negligence impetus for Muslim tickets. Who is saying this? JDPC. And we also have another story which says Archbishop Kagama never endorsed Shetima Tinubu. Archdiocesan spokesperson is saying that. And we just going to rest it there on the newspaper headlines, but we're going to bring in our in-house guest analyst, Tony Abba, to throw light into some of these stories that we've read out for you this morning. And Tony, you're welcome to the show.
Thank
Tony,
you very much for having me.
He's our in-house guest analyst from the newsroom, and he's here, hot, and you know, I don't know what is behind his shades this morning, but I know that he's going to be firing from all cylinders. Tony, we want you to quickly react to some of these stories we've just read from these three major newspapers.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I think the first headline that caught my fancy is the new NNPC. The new NNPC now is called NNPC Limited, making it a private organization, not the way the NNPC used to be, which when it was a corporation. Right. Now it's a limited organization, having the ability to do business, to have her own kinds of style of doing business and our own structures. But the structure definitely is not changing, but the name is what is changing. But my own concern is that will this be able to bring to an end the perennial fuel scarcity that we'll be having? If you buy in the city center, you buy cheap, you buy to some extent, you buy for 170, between 170 and 185, and you go to the suburb, you buy for 200 and 210. So everybody is on is having a field day. I'm talking about the price regime now. The price regime for this commodity is going to definitely affect the common man, because there's no price uniformity, and everybody will decide to put whatever price. And if there's no regulation, definitely the poor man will be at the receiving end. And now, if you look at this new reality now that is done on all the NNPCL, this does not mean that the subsidy has been removed. No, the subsidy is still there, and it takes a lot of money from the purse of the federal government. You understand? So the subsidy is still there, and everything is still going to remain the same, except something is done differently.
So quickly, which other stories? I have so many of them here, but I don't want to preempt you. I want you to just react to some of the stories. Which other stories do you think?
Well, for me, it's like the president is just waking up from his slumber, so to say, because if for the past 6 months, getting to 6 months or thereabout, a particular sector of the economy has been shut down, I mean the educational sector, ASU have been on strike for almost 6 months now, and it's now that the president is just, yes, it's now that the president is waking up to now know that the labor minister need to hands off of in the negotiation, and that the Adamu Adamu, the Minister of Education, should also be part of the negotiation. But for me, that is not enough. We've seen the president himself give an order, dish out orders to the security chief, do this, and nothing gets done.
So do you think
understand?
This is just a political statement?
No, this is, you should expect that, because we have a government that don't actually believe in the people. He has just mentioned this for him to be in the good book of people, to think that he's actually doing something. But in the reality, this is not the first week of ASU strike. This is not the second week. And it's now that you are saying they should do something. What have you been doing all this while? And remember that his children are not in Nigerian University. And most of the ministers and state governors, they are not in Nigerian University. So now, it is the common man who have no choice but to send his child to Nigerian University that is at the receiving end. And I am so happy that the election is actually, we are going to the polls in 2023. If we go there, let your PVC speak for you. You have the opportunity to vote out bad governance, those that have not actually met your your aspiration as a citizen. So we have opportunity to do that. For the president to say the Minister of Labor should hands off, well, he knows why he's saying that, but I believe that there's no sincerity in it. And for me, I would like to advise the government, whatever they are going to do now, if they are just waking up from their slumber and they want to do something, they shouldn't just suspend ASU strike. They should end ASU strike. Some of those things that they suspend only to come back again, suspend only to come back. Why not address it once and for all and hit the nail to the coffin once and for all, and let's make progress. Let our educational sector begin to work again. We have become a laughingstock in the Committee of Nations when it comes to education. So many people are, and if you look at what's happening because of the ASU strike, the level of crime and criminality have increased because people are at home. And even it's having even a ripple effect on this voter registration. Remember, most people who are going to vote, who are going to register for this voters card, they are young people whom should have been in school. Had they been there in school, maybe most of them won't have time because of studies and so on and so many other things to register. But I'm not saying that that is a bad thing, but the government have over the years neglected the young people. And the young people need to speak out now and speak very loudly with their voters card come 2023.
In one of the headlines this week, I actually saw that this present Minister of Labor regime has witnessed more of the ASU strike than any other minister. Could that be responsible for the president asking him to answer?
Well, I mentioned this earlier. If you look at it, there's no sincerity. There's no sincerity on the part of government. When you go on strike, they call you back and agree to certain things. That between a period of time, they are going to address those things. And when you call up the strike, they go back to the status quo and never do anything. So this is to tell you that we have a government that is not sensitive to the plight of the people.
Okay.
A government that is not, that doesn't care about her citizens.
Okay, hold your thoughts there. Let me just add this to this point. I don't know whether this was going to be one of the stories you intend to react to, but I want you to react to this. $10 billion spent on education, medical tourism yearly, says Emefiele. Should he be telling us this?
Well,
okay, so we should leave the messenger and take the message.
No, the Emefiele, the amount is talking about
on education.
It's not as if the federal government is spending
nets on
Nigeria's educational system. But this goes a long way to tell you the failure of the education system here in Nigeria and the failure of the health system. Because most of this money would have been plowed back into the economy of this country if these things are working well, if these sectors are working well. So now, there are so many problems in the education sector and there are in the health sector. So people are sick, they need good medical care. Even the president has not led by example. He always go to England, to UK for his medical checkup. So why would you blame anybody if he decides to send his kids or himself for medical checkup elsewhere? Now, we used to have one of the best education system in the 60s and in the 70s. People from various African countries and even those outside Africa usually come to Nigerian University. We know about the Ibadan. You understand? Yes. There used to be, yes, that place used to be the hub of African knowledge. But today, everybody sends his child to either Cyprus, UK, and Canada, even our neighboring country here, Ghana, to go and study because they have been able to find solution to their educational problem. So if he's saying this, he should be telling that to his principal, who is the president, to do something. And let me tell you what history will not forgive this government. The president was sick. He went to the hospital in the UK, got the best medical attention. That medical facility he benefited from was made possible by governance of the UK authority.
Good governance.
Yes. Now, you came back. If you're a visionary leader, the best thing you should do is to build that kind of hospital here, so that those who don't have money to go to UK can also have access to it here in Nigeria.
So,
but he never did anything like that.
Are we saying our hospitals cannot handle our, take care of the president's medical condition? Because recently it was in the news that the vice president had a surgery.
A leg surgery.
Yes, and it was successful.
The hospital in Lagos. But we're not told whether the hospital was a private hospital or a government hospital. I'll answer that by asking you to take a look at the State House Clinic. He would have done that in State House Clinic if it was possible.
And they
he didn't
spent
do it
a lot.
in State House Clinic. He went to a private hospital in Lagos, and I'm very sure it's not a government hospital. So
well, if you look at that, you know, the election is coming, so there's always this window dressing kind of and public relations that will go around telling us that now you cannot. But it's not true. It's not true. The truth is that if you are good to your people, you will trust them. I'm talking about trusting our own medical doctors.
Yeah.
Because most of the doctors that are even treating them abroad are Nigerians.
Exactly.
But they had the enabling environment to thrive, and they are doing very well. So the thing is that there is a clinic in Aso Rock. Why is he not using it? And every year there's a budget to that clinic. There's a huge budget for that clinic. The clinic is supposed to serve as the as a place where the president,
center, yes.
where the president and his household and other top officials can have access to in case of emergency and every other thing that needs to be addressed. But he is not taking advantage of it because he knows that there's actually nothing there.
Poorly equipped.
Nothing there. Even the first lady the last time screamed out that there was nothing in the State House Clinic. And we do budget for it every year.
I was listening to the NLC, is it NLC? No, the ASU president, Humphrey Odeleke, yesterday in a news, in an interview, where he said that in the late 60s and in early 70s, we had professors from Brazil, from different countries, 5 of them or more, lecturing in our institutions here in Nigeria. But hardly now you can find one, even in any of the universities across the country. He simply gave the reasons that a university lecturer in Nigeria earns between 400,000 to 600,000 monthly. That is less than how many dollars? That's less than that's like less than $1,000. Far less than $1,000.
Yes.
But out there, professors earn as much as between $2,500 to $3,000 monthly. So that could explain why we're having this huge. But Tony, we must thank you for your time, because we will go through this and all of it will not be exhausted in one show. But don't forget to keep a date with us on this show, because we'll always be bringing you topical issues from the news, from the policies makers, policies itself, somersaults, politicians and their gimmicks. You'll find all of them here on Late Morning Show. But don't forget to keep the conversation on with us on our various social media platforms, as you can see on the screen. And also connect with us via WhatsApp on the phone numbers on the screen. Your comments and suggestions on how to do it better are most welcome on this show. But don't go out yet. Don't change your channel yet, because after this segment, we'll be coming with the biggest segment of the show, which is the interview segment, and we'll be focusing our attention on the recent decision by the Independent Electoral Commission to end the ongoing voters registration by July 31st. Tony Alba, we must thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
You always come around to do justice to these stories with us.
Thank you very much.
Whenever we need you. Stay tuned.
welcome back. It's still the late morning show right here on Catholic Television. And like we said earlier, we are going to have an interview with our guest in the studio. And this, with us on the program today, we have a politician. He is Mr. Ifeanyi Uzochukwu. He is the Labour Party chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council. Mr. Ifeanyi, you are welcome. Comrade Ifeanyi, rather, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, looking at the INEC the voters registration, you are aware that there is a deadline.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about, do you think INEC will be able to meet up to the deadline for registration, which is the 31st of this month, right?
Since they've already given, thank you first of all for having me here. It's really a privilege and I don't take that for granted. The issue of INEC registration and the deadline, although a particular organization, I think was it Serap or so, had approached, had gone to court for extension of this voter registration. The truth about it is that probably because they are still developing issues in INEC, ordinarily there shouldn't have been anything like call deadline, even a day to election. People are supposed to be able to register. People are turning 18 every day. So people ordinarily should be able to register their, for PVC and even obtain their PVCs. Why is it that it is possible for you to go to the bank, you request for ATM and it is given to you with all the security features in it? So why will INEC, why would it take this long? Or why will we need to have a break and then about a period of, say, 5 months or so for INEC to be able to do whatever they feel they want to do, to be able to put a good record or whatever. So they've given the deadline. Of course, when it is time, it's not about whether they are going to meet up with the deadline. It is not possible for them to meet up with the registration of everybody within the time that is being given, because even on the day that PVC registration will be stopped or ends, there are people who will turn 18. The next day, people are going to turn 18. The next 2 days after, and so on. So, but the major challenge is the number of people now who need this registration. How prepared is INEC to capture all of them within this time limit? It is obvious that in some places, in some areas, where you have a lot of crowd wanting to register, the INEC has just one PVC, one machine for registration, and in the end, if you have like 200, 300 people who have turned out to register, maybe they get to register like 70, and others will go home and the next day they will come back again. So INEC can never, within the time limit and the machines deployed, INEC cannot meet up with registering everybody.
So are you saying that there should be no deadline, that people should be allowed to register even a day before the election?
That is what I just said. The truth about it is that if you can go to the bank and apply for an ATM machine and then an ATM card, and it is issued to you with all the security features. In fact, as you are leaving the bank, you can slot in your card and make withdrawals. So why is it that in Nigeria most of these things will look as if it's one big deal? I don't think. Okay, probably that's why I said maybe because of the development that we need to grow and grow up to the point that we can actually do these things a day before. So we will give INEC that benefit of doubt. But the truth is that within the set time, it is not possible for INEC to capture all those that need to be captured.
All right, comrade. Okay, first of all, let me just use this medium to send out warm heart congratulations to your party presidential candidate who just turned 61 recently, right?
Yeah.
And we want to say congratulations to him.
Thank you, sir.
Now, is this your party's position? Has your party taken a position as regards to INEC deadline to end the ongoing registration, or is this just your personal opinion? And what is your party's position, if they have taken any position?
What we are doing, which many other political parties are doing, individuals, organizations are doing, is to approach INEC to see how they could deploy machines to places, areas where people seem not to have been captured and they are in their numbers. So what we are doing now as a party is just going to INEC to also make them understand that there are some places that need this PVC registration, and then to see how to if possible, pressurize them to deploy these machines. The machines are not is not artifacts that you keep in your office for beautification. It is actually meant to be deployed to the streets for people to get registered. So as a party, that's what we are doing.
Okay, I think my personal observation in this ongoing registration, the last time the deadline was June
30th.
June 30th was the first deadline that we had. Mid-June or somewhere around mid-June, most centers were getting overcrowded with people trooping out in their numbers, coming out to struggle to try to register. As soon as it was extended, the crowd subsided. Is it a Nigerian factor that we like to hear deadlines? You can relate this with new registration. When there was a deadline for new registration, there was all this outcry and everywhere was crowded and all of that. And when they extended, the crowd went down. Is it that Nigeria we have this attitude of waiting till deadlines, till last minute rush?
It's all about
before we want to participate.
It's all about enlightenment.
Okay, so what is your party doing about enlightening people, the Nigerian voters?
At my level, I'm just a local government chairman supervising the activities across 12 wards of AMAC. And so what we are doing is to sensitize people. You know, the challenge is not just about that sensitization. The major challenge is the availability of the machines to get people registered. There are several places that have not been captured. In fact, I don't know, I heard that there are some places in the north that have a lot of machines. There are no more people coming out to get registered.
Allegedly.
Okay,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
You have pictures, videos to show us?
Even when you present videos to the present government, they will still debunk it. So it can be doctored video or whatever. So, but
from your observations, the places you've been to around your AMAC environment, what are the major challenges that you?
That is just what I'm telling you. The machines are not enough. In fact, before this deadline, you could go to the only place for registration for PVC is the local government.
Local government headquarters.
Local government headquarters.
Offices, okay.
If it is like AMAC, the local government headquarters is in Karu. So people will move 20, 10, 15 kilometers, all because they want to go to the local government to go and register. And then when you get there, you see a long queue. You could imagine, before 6 o'clock, I live around Karu. Before 6 o'clock, you have a crowd of about 100 or 200 gathered before 6 o'clock. And most of them are those who are living around. Then you can imagine somebody who is coming from 10, 15, 20 kilometers away from the local government headquarters. So now, if they knew that they are going to, this deadline was going to be 16th, 30th of June, that is the initial deadline, why didn't they deploy these machines to all the polling units for people to go to their polling units and get registered? Why will you centralize it at the local government headquarters? And then with the number of persons that are resident in AMAC, how is it possible? And I can tell you this one is not allegedly, because as the local government chairman of my party, I also get information, first-hand information. There are some of them that that went to the extent of paying INEC officials. It's not alleged whatever. It is first-hand information by those who actually made this payment. Even currently now, if you want to get registered, I can tell you between the hours of 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, you can get registered and not join the queue.
6 a.m. to
6 a.m. and 8 a.m., which is the official opening time for registration.
You have video evidence to back that up?
I am the evidence.
So you are saying there is a compromise in the system?
That is what I'm just saying. In fact, at one point, I received a call from one of my one of those in my ward, who was stranded because they told him he has to pay money. And I asked him, go to that INEC officer and tell him that he just called the headquarters now, and then they said they should get the name of the INEC personnel who is demanding for money. He did not call me again. So there are two things: either that he went and paid the money, or he said what I told him to say, and then the person felt threatened, and then he allowed him to register.
So what?
There's a lot of pressure, and because people who come today, they are not registered. By the time they come to the next day, they have so much queue that they may not still get registered. Nobody, INEC is not feeding anybody that people will go and queue days, day in, day out, just because they want to just get PVC. So one who does that 1, 2, 3 days, for somebody who is a businessman and who is still desperate, he wants to exercise his franchise on the day of election. He may say, okay, I have the money. In fact, as at yesterday, one of those I know paid 4,000 naira to be able to get registered.
So what is your party, comrade? What is your party doing to ensure that your supporters don't get disenfranchised? Like now, the deadline is 30th of July.
Yeah.
And 31st of July.
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is your party really doing?
Simply approaching INEC.
So
to see how these machines can be deployed to areas and at least decentralized, so that people can be able to at different points go and get their PVCs, go and get registration.
Okay. Sorry, let me come in there. There was some time ago we had that they created some new centers where people can go and register. For instance, the old parade ground.
Yeah.
It was in the news.
That was just for a period of 6 days.
Okay, so that is not ongoing as we speak.
No. It was just a period from, I think, 20th to 21st to 26th of June, or either 20th to, it was from Monday to Saturday. It was an open air stuff where people, could go in their numbers to go and register without, at least with several registration points. But then, if you see the crowd there, you will know that a lot of people, it was not possible for even people to get registered, everybody to get registered within that space of time. There was stampede. Some people fainted in that venue because of the stampede, even on the first day. So there is a lot that needs to be done. We as a party, we hope that INEC will extend the deadline, but INEC has given excuse of a lot of things that they need to do at the back end after this close end to the registration. What, as Oliver Twist, we will continue to ask for more, because it is our entitlement to get registered.
So, comrade, what would you say is responsible for the large turnout that we have seen in the voters' registration in the past few months, unlike other times that the registration has been on? And people, the place is scanty, people don't go to get registered. Some people registered but did not even care to go and collect their voters card. So what do you think is responsible for this large turnout now?
Okay, before I say about what is responsible, in a way, I want to commend INEC for what they have done, and the CSO and the National Assembly in helping to put up this Electoral Act, which was signed into law by the president, because ordinarily, before you have primaries conducted around December or late period of the year, and then by the early next year we are all going for the elections. But now with this Electoral Act, there is enough time for the electorate to assess their candidates, their antecedents and so on, and then look at them and then know if it is something that they need to even bother themselves going to get their getting PVCs. You know, before, due to the one of the major reasons we used to have voter party is sometimes people feel that who they voted for, the popular candidate, don't in the end get to be announced or elected because of challenges that border around. They say votes don't count and so on. So now, with the Electoral Act being signed into law, there is a lot of work that has been done that figures cannot be manipulated.
So are you saying this time is not going to be business as usual?
It is no longer business as usual. But then, I will tell you the reason why we have influx or large turnout of people who are now more aware, more enlightened, and are eager to get their PVCs. I'm sorry if I become political or partisan. It's about P2B. Yes, it's about the presidential candidate of people of the people. About somebody who even before he left, he was in PDP. As about the time he said he was leaving PDP, thousands of youths of the PDP went to the PDP headquarters and said, "Give us Obi." They were shouting and drumming to the leaders. They should give them Obi. Why? He's a new breed. He's somebody that somehow his ideology aligns with what the young people, the younger, if you notice, those who are craving to get their PVCs now are largely the youths. They are largely the youths. The older ones may not have that time to come and queue up and this thing. And thanks to the federal government that has kept the young ones at home with the ASU strike, because now they are blaming the ASU. But the federal government had an agreement with ASU. I'm sorry, why I'm digressing is all these things are the things that are building up to the large turnout of people. If the young ones were at home, were at school, they may not have the opportunity to get registration, go for registration of their PVCs. But now, most of them are idle. So the only place that they can pour out their stress and their boredomness is going to the INEC headquarters or offices where they can get their PVCs registered. So we thank all the powers that has made this impossible. But the major thing is that people now have hope that their vote is going to count based on the PVC, or based on the signing of the Electoral Act. And then with the two elections that has been held, we can see that it is largely the voice of the people that counted in the elections and the emergence of the candidates in the election.
Okay, let me bring in another thought here. But a lot of people want to say, I want to ask how well did the Labour Party did in the just recent concluded Austrian election? Is it just about Peter Obi at national level, or you're also thinking about Labour Party, dominating some of these states?
Yeah, I understand that sentiment. You know, the thing about it is that before you go into election, there are things that are supposed to be done at the grassroots. P2B has become popular. In fact, Labour Party is a major force to reckon with in Nigeria.
Some say it's just popular on social media.
Yeah, some people argue that your party doesn't have a structure. You don't have a structure.
Let me take one. The first is that it's just on social media. You know that the young people are the ones who are mainly on the social media.
Of course.
And you see that.
And you heard that election is not won on social media.
Yes, but have you noticed that it has translated from them being on the social media to going to the INEC offices to get their PVCs?
Yes, I wanted to ask you that if your party is putting up any form of mobilization, any form of a way of encouraging and mobilizing people to take advantage of this last-minute rush, as it seems to be like now.
Yeah, that I had already said it, that we have approached INEC to.
No, I mean from your own end, is there anything you are doing as a party to mobilize support for youths, for Nigerians, so to speak, who you claim they are for Peter Obi?
Yeah.
To go all out and get these PVCs before the new deadline.
That is what we are doing, and we are.
I want to know some of those strategies that you are putting in place to get your members go out and take advantage of the last minute.
What other strategy than
like putting vehicles
we don't,
at every junction,
like
taking them or going to the centers to cook food for them to be able to stay there all day.
Those that you see, the thing about it is that you know, some of these things is not something we just we don't believe in making noise. We believe in
but in politics, you have to make some noise.
Yes, the noise aspect is there, but what we want is actions that will lead to results. What we are doing currently now at the ward level, which is the grassroots, is one-on-one engagement. Some of the wards are even getting vehicles to move people to where the registration points or registration centers. So that is what is not about coming to that you come and keep loudspeaker here and keep speaker and shout everybody should go and register, and then those who are willing to register can't. Some of them may not have the transportation or this thing wherewithal to move, or to some of them don't even know where to go and register, because some of these places you can see a community, a whole community, there is no registration point. So we move them with vehicles and so on to registration points where they can get registered. That is what is most important.
Currently?
Yes. In fact, during the registration at the old parade ground, the one that was done by INEC, organized at the old parade ground by INEC, some of the wards had to hire coastal buses to move people to that registration point.
Okay. Now, a politician, I don't want to mention him, said Peter Obi can only become president in Igbo land. That's one. It was. I don't want to. I'm quoting a politician.
Yeah, we all know him, the vice presidential candidate of APC. There is no way saying that.
And at the same time, you are just talking now.
Yeah.
Based on AMAC.
Yeah.
And some other people have also said, some other school of thought have also said Obi can only win election in the south. Now, both north and south, I want you to give me a feedback that you are having from these centers. Are you just talking based on FCT mobilization? Have you gotten feedback from northeast, northwest, north center, and other states in the south on how well this mobilization is going on in terms of getting people,
you know,
to participate in the...
You know the beautiful thing about what is happening in Labour Party now?
Is it vibrating across the country?
Or just
on social media?
Thing.
We are talking because we're in FCT.
Yeah, you could give me a feedback.
That is what I just want to tell you. You know the beautiful thing about what is happening now? The campaign is no longer P2B campaign across the nation, whether on social media, because you still need to rely on the social media to get feedback of what is happening in other states. You are here. Nobody, but what we are doing now could travel to states and so on across the country. So if you look at what is happening now, I don't know of any other political party, including APC and PDP, that people are deploying their resources. I don't know, I'm yet to see branded t-shirts for APC, PDP, or people on their own. These same youths that are on social media are using their meager resources to brand t-shirts, caps, and so on, doing the mobilization. It is no longer mobilization by just Labour Party. If you go to Taraba, in fact, I can tell you that in one of the states, in the northern states, because down they are now looking at, sometimes when they play the tribal sentiment and it doesn't work, they make it religious and so on. A Muslim in the north, I wouldn't want to mention, but one of the, of course the man is not even hiding it, but one of the states in the north printed thousands of hijab that he is distributing to women, to Muslim women, because he said that this message, they are the ones who are on ground that will be able to share, to spread this message. It is a movement. It is no longer just about P2B. It is about the future of Nigeria, the future of the youth. And this burden has been placed around one individual who people can see his antecedents, they can see his track record, and he, just like a popular statement he makes, go and verify. You go and verify what he has done before, and you can say with what he has done before, he can actually do more if he is given the position of the president. So it's not about social around Nigeria now. It is not something that, tell me where people are going out on their own. Campaign has not started. You can't even hold this. By the time campaign will start, Nigeria will be agog with P2B.
I want to thank you for that, for acknowledging the fact that campaign has not started. We are not campaigning for anybody here. We are here to talk about the INEC recent deadline on the ongoing PVC registration. And personally, I want to clear the air about the allegation he just made about INEC collecting 4,000 or thereabouts to get people registered between 8 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. I think. Personally, I have a personal experience I would like to share at this point. I registered some time ago in 2019 in my local government, and I have, at the date, I have my temporary card, but the permanent card did not come out even until that election date of 2019. I still could not collect my permanent card. So recently I visited INEC Center at Cairo. That's also my ASIS. I was there to register, and I was accosted by some women, you know, and they told me that if I can do the online registration with them outside, then I'll just go inside with the reference number to do the capturing. So doing the registration with them outside will reduce the length of time you have to spend inside. I think, is that what you mean? That is not what because I was also asked to pay for that registration.
That is not what I'm saying.
But when I finished and I got the reference number, I quickly put a call to the INEC officer in my local government that did the first registration for me. I am at the verge of registering again. What would you advise me to do? He referred me to go to INEC website to fill damaged card information and get my card replaced. I have done that. At the point they asked me to verify my complaint with my email, it was unsuccessful. Why I'm pointing out this is to also let INEC know that they need to come out and clear the air. A lot of people are going through a lot of challenges trying to get these PVCs. Either you go there to register, there's so many things that is going on now that you guys are not aware of. I was listening to a radio station this morning, and INEC commissioner was defending INEC, telling us that INEC
I think we were listening to the same station because I wanted to come to that.
From anybody and all of that. But we are all aware that these things can actually happen under, you know, in an undercover manner, just the same way INEC will tell you that they are not aware people are buying votes and selling votes at polling
Maybe one
units.
of these days we should bring them.
So I think INEC should be able to come to this platform and also, you know, tell us their own side of the story.
They will always tell you, they will always hold the same position.
But we must sincerely thank you for the time you have spent with us
on
this program. We hope to have you again and again before the 2023 election, and to come and also throw light on some of these issues as regards registration, accreditation, the Electoral Act, and the voting and the counting, and the subsequent announcement of the winner. We want to wish you and your party well in this upcoming election.
Thank you.
And we'll also use this to extend to other parties. You can also come here and tell us how you are faring with the ongoing registration and the deadline as announced by INEC. But don't just go away yet. The program is not ended. We'll come back with our last segment of the show, which is the entertainment segment. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to the entertainment segment on the late morning show. I am Delphine Asu. We'll begin with news from the international scene. Indeed, dreams do come true as Jennifer Lopez is currently floating on the marital bliss of Batman's wings. In talking about Batman, I am of course referring to Ben Affleck, who has starred in movies like Daredevil, The Accountant, and also Batman in some of DC's productions. 2 decades ago, the Love Don't Cost a Thing crooner, Jennifer, shared her dream of becoming Mrs. Affleck. They got engaged in 2002 with a ring worth $2 million. Too bad that didn't work out. After 20 years, the Daredevil star, Ben Affleck, dared love again, and we got news that they tied the nuptial knot on Saturday at a Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas. Congratulations to Jennifer. While Hollywood woke up with this amazing news this week, Nollywood was hit by the sad news of the demise of Ada Ame. We heard that the actress reportedly died at NNPC Hospital, Delta State on Sunday night. She had revealed recently that she was dealing with a mental issue. Remember that she had lost her daughter in 2020. Celebrities are mourning the loss, with actors like Fred Amata describing her death as devastating. A native of Idoma in Benue State, Ada Ame was notable for movies like Domitila, Blood Money, and of course, The Johnsons. May her soul rest in peace. Well, finally on the entertainment segment, I've got an interesting news that Davido is calling out on INEC. What happened? It's simple. He's saying that the body has refused to issue return certificates to his dear uncle, Ademola Adeleke, who won the Osun State governorship elections. Well, the commission promptly replied that they have up to 14 days to issue a certificate to a winner. And this got me thinking, just how much influence does the entertainment industry have in our society? Well, you should think about that, and maybe one day we'll talk about it on the show. Well, for me, that's it on this segment for today, and until next time, do stay tuned as more will be coming your way on the Late Morning Show. I am Delphine Asu.
It's been a great time on the Late Morning Show. Don't forget to join us for another edition, same time, same station. And don't forget to go out and register, as this will guarantee a brighter future for us and the next generation. From me, Zion Chris, is bye.
Yes, and don't forget to keep your conversation coming in on the show. From the numbers on the screen, you can send us text messages and WhatsApp messages. And of course, follow us on our various social media platforms, as you can see on the screen. And I'm Charles Agedu. See you next time.
You're watching CTV.